Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. I'm doing the new releases here today for November 10th, 2023. And I'm going to have to zip through this actually, so you're getting a break because UPS came and interrupted me in the middle of my last shot at this. I was about 25 minutes in, and I'm like, here they are. So, I'm still fighting my raspy cough too, so it's probably better if I keep this short. So, anyway, thanks for joining me. Let's see, this week's new releases. I think first I should mention, because I never showed these when they came out 2 weeks ago. They came out after I did the video, Taylor Swift's 1989. This is the Crystal Blue Skies edition. That seems to be most common. We also have one or two left of the Rose Pink edition. These are more limited, and I don't know if I can order these again. And the Aquamarine Green edition, which I love this picture of her eating an ice cream cone. So, yes, I'm just jumping in today. Last week we had the Beatles Now and Then singles come out. This week we get the albums. So today, Red and Blue on vinyl. These are 3 LP editions, so there's 6 records in here for about $150. People say, well, I've heard these songs before. Well, maybe you have, but maybe not the 2023 mixes of them. A lot of them were remixed by Giles Martin, half-speed mastered, 75 tracks. They added a bunch of tracks. Interestingly, Now and Then, the new song is not at the very end. It's kind of buried in the last 10 or so songs on here. So that's out. And then if you are not interested in getting the whole box, you can get the red or the blue separate for about $75 each, which covers, it's all the same stuff. So you're not going to be out of luck if you decide not to get the box or something like that. Okay, a new release for this week. New Chris Stapleton, his album Higher, and this features What Am I Gonna Do, South Dakota, Trust, and It Takes a Woman. Probably the most popular male country rock artist that's around right now. They didn't ship the CDs, so I hope that they come tomorrow. I don't know. Last week we had the same problem with, ironically, the same parent company and the Jimmy Buffett, and we have that CD now. So excuse me while I fight this cough. Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is Hollywood Bowl, August 1967. So this was apparently not a concert that was widely bootlegged, so it's not been easy to find. They're numbered 370 out of 5,000. Apparently they only made 5,000 of these. And it's cool because it has a couple of cover songs on it mixed in. He does Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. He does Like a Rolling Stone and Wild Thing. So Hendrix fans, take note. Grateful Dead fans, get Grateful Dead's Without a Net. Again, this is a 3-record set. I think this has been out of print for decades. Let's see, it's from October 1989 to April 1990, featuring Eyes of the World with Branford Marsalis. It's 3 LPs and it's around 70 to 75 also. And then there's also Grateful Dead's Built to Last, which was their last studio record from 89. Includes Foolish Heart, Picasso Moon, and Just a Little Light. So if you're missing those things, I wouldn't wait too long on that. I don't know how limited they are. They never really say, right? Here's something I've lobbied for years. I'm so glad to see it back. New Order Substance, 1987. This is sort of like a greatest hits extended versions of their early years. Peter Saville's sort of minimal artwork. Features Temptation, Blue Monday, Confusion, Perfect Kiss, Shell Shock, Bizarre Love Triangle, True Faith, and others. I was lucky enough to see them on this tour at Red Rocks, and they were on the bill with Echo and the Bunnymen. Gene Loves Jezebel opened, and there was this rainstorm that came out of the mountains, like mist, It got into their keyboards and shorted everything out towards the end of Shell Shock. So Bernard finished singing the chorus, and then techs ran out to try and fix things. They couldn't get it fixed, so they strapped on guitars and started playing a bunch of Joy Division songs that they hadn't played in years. So, or since Ian's death much. There was also a CD box set of this that came out, which is really nice. It's a 4-disc set. And the first disc is the vinyl that you just saw, and then the second disc is B-sides, sort of like it was originally. It was a 2 CD set. And disc 3 was dub mixes, and disc 4 is a live concert featuring all the songs that are on this album in order. A new order. Let's see. Other New Order things. They released the Two True Faith 12-inch singles. This is the extended version. This is the Shep Pettibone remix. Pretty cool that they're doing all this. And Blue Monday, 88. So this was the reissued version. The song had kind of gained some traction over time. And in America, it wasn't like a big radio hit like it was in the UK. So they thought they'd try again, and it really wasn't a big radio hit again unless you were listening to K-Rock or something like that. Another great reissue this week, REM's Up. This kind of completes the Warner year reissues for REM. It's a double record. This is their sort of Brian Wilson-y sounding, Pet Sounds type sounding album, featuring the songs Lotus, At My Most Beautiful, Walk Unafraid, Day Sleeper. It's a great album. I mean, I probably prefer Reveal a little bit, but a lot of people love this album and have been waiting for it, so it's good to see that out. Also, there were a couple of CD editions on that. This little 2 CD box set, which has a live show on the second disc, or there's the more deluxe-y with artwork box set, and this features a Blu-ray with all of the music videos. So, cool. Moving along, trying to do this fast. Cat Power sings Bob Dylan, 1966 Royal Albert Hall concert. She basically does the whole concert in her voice, and she's got kind of a husky, raspy voice that would probably suit this material perfect. I've heard her do other cover songs, and she's great. This is an indie exclusive white vinyl, so that's new. Let's see, we've got new Aesop Rock. This is his album Integrated Tech Solutions. Is kind of a hip-hop star, and this features appearances from Billy Woods, Rob Sonic, Nicky Jean, Hani El Khatib, double white colored vinyl, embossed reverse sleeve. Yeah. So I got some real big Aesop Rock fans out there. Whoa. Sorry, I was sort of running out of room here to put stuff. Beirut, Hadsel. Beirut, sort of a singer-songwriter, indie, likes featuring horns a lot on his records. I don't know what's on this one. I have not heard Hadsel yet, but I'm interested. A band I really don't know much about at all, but they definitely have fans too. Goat, and this is their new album, Medicine. I definitely have heard people asking for that. It's been a while since there's been a Goat album. Five Finger Death Punch, this is F8. I'm not sure if this album is already released and this is just a special edition or if this is new, but this is the new gold edition is what this says. On tour now, limited edition. It's definitely lovely, right? Yeah. Eye-catching. Shiny. Okay, James Taylor fans. October Road on vinyl. Music on Vinyl did this limited edition of 1,000 individually numbered copies on gold and black marble vinyl, certified platinum in the US. Features a song On the 4th of July. This came out in the late 90s, I believe. So pick that up if you're into James, because I bet that won't be around for very long. Måneskin, reissue of their recent album. This features 5 new songs. One called Mark Chapman, I don't know. But yeah, this features Victoria, who famously dances with no shirt on and played on the new Duran Duran album. Let's see. Girls Against Boys, House of Girls Against Boys. This is a reissue of one of their biggest albums. This actually was reissued a couple years ago. This is a more streamlined edition. It's cheaper, so you can save a little money if you didn't get it the first time and get here now. Social Distortion, Mommy's Little Monster. It's a Craft Recordings reissue of this album. This one is one of the harder to find Social D albums, I think. Lacquer's cut by from Master Tapes by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grunman. So, I told you, Zippity Zip. Helmet, their new album, Left. And Helmet, it's been a while since they put anything out that I know of. So this is on Ear Music, which puts out like Alice Cooper records and stuff. They do a lot of artists that maybe were rock that had hits back in the day. And Bush, their new greatest hits album, Loaded, the greatest hits 94 to 2023. This is a double record. It's on cloudy clear vinyl. It doesn't there's a lot of the hits here. Everything's Zen, Little Things, Glycerine, Swallowed, Greedy Fly, and then on to songs that I know a lot less. But yeah, Bush greatest hits. Sum 41 greatest hits. All the good shish. Yeah, Sum 41 sort of have a fan following, and everyone looks for these albums. They're so hard to find, so this might be a good way of at least getting the highlights together in one spot. Let's see, Fuel. This was a huge late 90s album, I believe, also. 2000. Featured the song Hemorrhage in My Hands, was a big hit at rock radio. It's an album that's also very hard to find, so 90s fans, take note. UFO, I might have shown this recently. This is One Night Lights Out 77. I think it was out already, but on a different color vinyl. This is one of those Cleopatra pressings, but it's on red vinyl. Let's see here. Another rock classic, Ozzy Osborne, Bark at the Moon. And this is RSD Essential 40th anniversary on translucent cobalt blue vinyl with a bonus poster. Ozzy isn't playing right now live because of his Parkinson's, but apparently he's doing appearances. We just had him here recently for some kind of convention, and it was advertised that he was going to show up, and members of the Osborne family, and people were like, oh, Ozzy's not going to be there. Well, he was there with Sharon. Apparently they sat in a couple of throne chairs, and there was an empty chair in the middle, and you got to sit there, and they take a picture, and it's like $500 or $600 from what people were saying. So yeah. Willie Nelson, Rainbow Connection. So if you want to hear Willie doing sort of like kids tunes, I'm looking over 4-Leaf Clover. Just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in, which isn't really a kid's song, but that's kind of a cool release. And another Willie record, It Will Always Be, sort of one of his more somber kind of late 90s record, produced by James Stroud. Oh, this is 2004. So they're really kind of getting the island years of Willie finally taken care of. Best of KC and the Sunshine Band. Almost whacked myself in the head there. Greatest hits from across the catalog. Well, these songs are just iconic. Get Down Tonight, I'm Your Boogeyman, Shake, Shake, Shake Your Booty, That's the Way I Like It, Keep It Comin' Love, Please Don't Go, Boogie Shoes. And their greatest hits records are getting harder to find in stores, so it's nice that that's out. Dave Brubeck, Christmas, on Craft Recordings. This is a double record. This was done in 1996, so it's a little later for Dave, but I'm sure it's wonderful on vinyl. It's got to sound great. if you like sort of warm piano Christmas music. And then going way back, OJC, the series this year that seems to be the hot series is the OJC for Jazz. And they're new. And this is Dave Brubeck Quartet Jazz at Oberlin, probably his biggest early record before Take 5. And so again, people are like, well, why are they doing this when there's so many of them out there? Oh, because it's going to sound great. Chet Baker featuring Wayne Marsh in 1984. Blues for a Reason includes one track appearing on vinyl for the first time. Late Chet is sort of hit and miss. I don't know what this is like. It got 4 stars from AllMusic. Chet looks really rough right there. This would have been about the era he was playing shipbuilding on Elvis Costello's records. The Art of Ensemble of Chicago, Tutankhamun. This is like a free jazz record, one of the most influential free jazz recordings in the 60s avant-garde canon. Pressed at Palace in Germany on silver vinyl. It's pretty way out type music, I think. The Counts. What's up front that counts? This is like a early 70s funk masterpiece featuring 3 bonus tracks. This is on lavender marble color vinyl. Westbound Recordings, famous for having Parliament Funkadelic. Excuse me, maybe Funkadelic. John Scofield's a go-go. Well, people, there's a bunch of like people who like jazz guitar stuff, and John Scofield's one of the best. But the cool thing about this record is it features a trio backing him known as Medeski, Martin, and Wood. I don't know if people are going to really like notice that, but I'm telling you here right now, and they're already sold out at the distributor. So they're limited for now. Hopefully we'll get some more later on. Don Cherry's Art Deco, another record that you don't see very often. This is a third man. These are Verve by Request series here. And this was done 1988. So, and it says it was recorded at Van Gelder. So there you go, Van Gelder Cliffs or whatever. Harold Land Quartet, The Peacemaker. This is another third man, Verve by Request. And I don't know, that looks great to me. Yeah, 8 tracks. This was done. I hate it when they don't put the original date on them, so we know exactly when they're. 1967 and 68. So still pretty like classic jazz. Okay, we got a few CDs to show here at the end that are new. Travis Scott, Utopia, his new release on CD. Todd Snyder's Crank It, We're Doomed. I think this is available on vinyl. Todd is such a wry singer-songwriter, and it features songs like The War on Terror, America's Favorite Pastime, West Nashville, Grand Ballroom Gown, What Made You Do It. He always has kind of like funny tongue-in-cheek lyrics. Roger Eno, The Skies, They Shift Like Clouds. This is another sort of classically ambient type thing from Brian's brother Roger, who I think is no longer with us, but I could be wrong, and if Roger, if you're alive, I'm sorry about that. Andre Bocelli, Family Christmas. This actually came out last year, but this has a bunch of bonus tracks now. 9 bonus tracks. I mean, it practically almost doubles the length of the CD, featuring Feliz Navidad with the Simpsons. Just what you want to hear is the Bocelli singing with the Simpsons, right? Families, and the new Meshuggah CD, Chaos Sphere. And I think that's really all I had to show. I just zipped through that in 20 minutes. Usually that would take double time. You're like, thank you, Jason, for... Yeah. All right, and one last thing. I wanted to give a recommends this week, so I'll make this brief. I'm going to recommend this week a band that doesn't get nearly enough love, and for me, I love them. It's Yellow, and they're a duo from Switzerland. I've talked so much about other duos like Soft Cell, Pet Shop Boys, Sparks, Eurythmics. Yellow was fantastic, are fantastic. They're still making records. Switzerland. The two main guys, Carlos Perón is gone, but the two main guys here, Dieter and Boris, are still the two main guys in this band. Why is it that all the duos have one guy that looks like sort of Hitler-y? I don't know. No, he looks a little more French, probably. But anyway, they were sort of are avant-garde and are more now probably like kind of a smooth jazz electronic sort of situation. But there were early signings to Ralph Records in the U.S. and the late 70s or very early 80s because they liked the Residents and they wanted to get on the Residents record label or RCA. And Ralph signed them, and then eventually this third album, they might have moved on the second, but they moved over to Elektra. And this is probably one of the strangest bands that's ever been on Elektra Records. But it's electronic in a sense. Dieter's voice is not necessarily a singing voice. It's more kind of spoken word a lot of time. He does croon a little bit. He was sort of a avid golfer, pro golfer ish, young when he was young, and also a professional poker player who got out of it because basically it was like an addiction that he didn't want to live that way. And so he met Boris, who was a fantastic keyboard boffin, and Boris has something like 1 million keyboard sounds now stored in his computers after all these years. But this album in particular, I love Stella that came right after this, but this one I think was the one that sort of got them to break through, and it's the one that I have in the store to show you. Begins with the songs I Love You and Lost Again, which are sort of like quirky, romantic, electro kind of stuff. I Love You is just kind of a crazy song. I love you, I know. I love you, I know. And Lost Again is beautiful. It gets a little weirder from there. I mean, you get a song like Swing that starts side 2, which sounds sort of like it could have been from like a Gershwin musical or something like that. It's got that kind of like swanky, the rhythm that people would have danced to in top hats and, coattails. But you also get songs like You Gotta Say Yes to Another Excess, the title track, which is very kind of like odd sort of avant-garde tribal sounding stuff. Or Crash Dance is kind of that way. Great Mission is the coolest song. It's like it's a story about sort of like a guy in the jungle, like in the African jungle, and it's all spoken word to this weird kind of jungle background music, and you just don't hear records like this much anymore. And I would like to think that they're highly influential. Not a big seller. I think the cover art perfectly depicts what the album sounds like, and I love their sleeves, the artwork that was done for them. I'm trying to remember who the artist was, but Ernst Gomper, German, obviously, or Swiss. But anyway, check out, if you haven't heard Yellow, I recommend this album and Stella are two good albums to start with. Flag is another pretty good album that features a big UK hit for them called The Race. But and they're still out there making records, so definitely check that out. All right, thanks guys. I gotta go open my shop. It was a pleasure. Peace. See you next time. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for sitting in with me. Take care.